right, it's about 12:15 here. Dave and Glenn Show at daveandglennshow.com. And we have our very special guest on the line, Katrina from Paranormal State, whose season premiere is Monday night, 10 o'clock on A&E. Hey, Katrina.
Hi, how are you guys?
We're doing great.
Doing great, Katrina. Very excited that Paranormal State is coming back. Such a dry well of paranormal shows on the air right now.
Yeah.
Been fiending for you guys to come back. You know, I've said this to you before on the air, but I just want to repeat it for our worldwide audience. This show is like a cool half-hour horror movie. It's so well produced. Yeah. I just absolutely dig everything you guys do. Can you give us maybe a hint? I know you don't want to spoil too much of some of the cool locations you filmed at for the new season.
Yeah, my favorite one. There's only 7 episodes coming back for the new season, but the last one we filmed was in Alabama at this old plantation, and it was just beautiful. And it's right now they're trying to restore it, so we really got to, kind of be in its original environment. I mean, they have the original paint on the walls, the original wallpaper on the walls. But I mean, what's cool about it is this plantation is so full of mystery and legend and lore. And I mean, they were telling us about how one of the slaves at one point, during the Civil War, had to take all the family's treasure and put it in the underground tunnels that they had going to the backyard kitchen, and they still haven't found the treasure, so they're still looking for it. And how I guess this is a weird story they had for us, but how possibly one of the owners at one time believed he was a vampire.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
wow. That's got a little of everything in it. That's
yeah.
Okay.
Now you're the interviewer for the group, so is that part of the setup for the show?
I haven't seen how that episode came out yet.
Okay.
But I mean, there was so much on that case. I mean, the basement of the plantation is set up like a maze, and the people who work on restoring it now took us downstairs. And they were like, "Here's our basement," and we're like, "Okay." Like, this huge, beautiful basement, but there's one room that I guess isn't on the blueprints of the building, and they believe that there's bodies buried down there.
Oh wow!
Oh man!
Yeah, so
I don't know how you do this stuff, Katrina. I was telling Dave earlier in the show, you are one of the bravest women on TV. I don't know how you guys do that.
Oh, thank you.
Now, one thing we absolutely love is you guys, other than some other shows, still investigate people's homes. Other than the one you just talked about, is there any homes that stick out for this upcoming season?
There were a couple. I mean, I was only on. There's 7 coming back, and I was on 4 of those investigations out of the 7. One we filmed at the end of September, and it dealt with a younger girl. She's probably in her mid-20s, and she has an older boyfriend. And they experienced, they believe that they have a demon in their house. So, we revisit that, and we have a priest come out with us. We have our resident psychologist come out with us. And I don't want to say, what we felt was happening or what we experienced.
Yeah, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
Yeah, but it was just, it was, regardless, it was a really intense investigation. And it kind of, the team was kind of split on what we thought was happening. So I'm curious. I haven't seen that episode either, how that came out, but I'm really curious on how it, it did, because it was very intense emotionally, so.
How do you pick locations? I know that a lot of people contact you for help. How do you go about picking locations? It must be difficult.
It is. We get contacted in 2 ways, because we're still a paranormal group on our own without the TV show. So we have, our own emails and our own websites, and so we'll get contacted that way from people. But also people will see the show, and they'll contact, A&E that way. And so it's either producers will come to us saying, "Hey, these people came through. Can you guys talk to them, see what you think? We really like the case. We think it's good." Or we'll find cases on our own, and we'll go through them, and then we'll kind of bring them to the producers and be like, "Hey, we really like this case. What do you guys think too?" And overall, we kind of have final say.
I was just going to ask you that because there's the ghost hunting show that seems to have been taken over by their network, and they just do stuff that just, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
So A&E lets you guys, for the most part, to help people that need help.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, there's been times where, a client rents their home, and just for legalities, we need whoever owns the property to sign off on the release forms to get the whole camera crew in there. And there's been some times where owners of the property won't allow us to do that because they're worried they won't be able to rent their home again, or
okay.
We've had really great cases that we couldn't take on because of things like that.
Wow.
The show, even though, the good thing about the show is we got to travel all over the nation and help families that normally we wouldn't be able to get to. Mm-hmm. And kind of the bad thing is we have had families back out because they're worried about a camera crew in their home, or, they're worried about going on national television, or, they rent their home, and unfortunately the person who owns it won't, give us permission to go in there. So...
Okay.
It's Dave and Glenn. We're talking to Katrina from A&E's Paranormal State. I kind of have a follow-up question that I'm wondering if there are any filmed episodes that actually don't make it, maybe because of that reason. Someone changes their mind at the last minute. Have you ever done an entire investigation with a film crew that never makes it to the season?
Actually, no. Everything we've ever done has made it. There was only, I think, one episode that it was for season... I want to say it was season 4, and they didn't air it until a year later.
Okay.
But I was told that was just because the Olympics were on. So,
Dave and I both saw a movie this weekend that made us think of you and Ryan and the crew. Did you see Insidious? Because it reminded us of that episode where you had that child that might have been possessed, and just wondered if you saw that flick. It was pretty darn scary.
I haven't. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
you got to see this movie. It's really, really good.
She lives a movie, Dave. I don't know if she has to see. So Paranormal State resumes its new season, 7 brand new episodes. How pumped are we?
Yep.
Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on A&E. Katrina, thanks so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, guys.
Hey, no problem. We'll talk again soon.
Okay, all right, that sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good to hear from Katrina.
Oh, she's awesome.